social media roasting panel. Boo, boo, boo. Boo, 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 boo. Kai, do you have a little like boo, 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 boo? No, I'm kidding. It's fine.
Sound effect? Oh, we need sound effect buttons.
Next time. Next year.
Learning process, right?
Learning. We're all. Thank you for that. This is all about learning.
Learning.
This is an amazing chance for us to figure out what we can do better when it comes to social media.
This is literally reading Rainbow.
Exactly. I would love to introduce our panelists. First on my right is Tranna Wintour. Please give a round of applause. Hi, Tranna. How are you?
Good, you?
Are you excited to be here?
So excited.
What is your most annoying thing that you see happen on social media?
I'm sure it doesn't apply to anyone here, but
We'll see.
the sort of like overly thoughtful captions that accompany nudes and thirst traps.
Yes.
Right.
That, or like just when the thirst trap and the caption are so disjointed. That's one of my pet peeves.
I love that.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Star AH-MER-AH-SU. Round of applause. Star,
Hi.
what is your most annoying thing that you see on social media?
Basic behavior, and we'll get it. Like, yeah,
Say more.
people who are basic in my mind doesn't actually mean like aesthetic wise. It's like if you just do the same thing over and over. It's kind of basic and boring. So that is my pet peeve. I like mute lots of people that I still follow because I don't want to be mean. So
Why
I was
did
thinking
you look
about
at me
that
when
today.
you said that?
Oh, you're not muted. No, but I do mute a lot of people. Anyway.
Next up, we have Melissa Vincent. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Are you excited? You down? You into
I
it?
am excited. My heart is racing, but I think that's a good thing. It might just be the coffee, but
Earlier in the talk we did before, you were talking about gold stars. Do you want to just repeat what you said earlier about whether we all...
am I taking your thunder? I feel like you're the one who said it.
Yeah, well, you did it. I said it, but you took it.
Sorry.
No, you
Like,
agreed with me.
I mean, I guess it's this conversation. We're not everything you do deserves a gold star, and that's fine.
Oh no,
Now
but
I remember it.
I don't. This is my brand of influencing. It's called subtle influencing and subliminals, which means I'll say it and then it'll be, other people will say it.
People run with it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I agree. Not everyone deserves a gold star.
This is an excuse. This is an example of it working.
That's what I just said.
I started saying. I'm so excited to do this event. It's one of the first ones that I came up with a few months ago, and I think it's going to be such a fun thing. Here's how it's going to work. We're going to invite one person at a time to sit in the hot seat with the chair. And then we are going to take a look through their social media feed. We're going to pick a few posts to discuss as a judging panel. We are going to vote whether we love it or block it. And then we'll have a little conversation about it. And we'll do that for a few posts per each person, give some final thoughts, give the person a chance to talk, and then we'll repeat. Sound
I don't
good?
think I have
Sound
one
good?
of those little things.
You should beside you.
Oh yeah, never mind. We're good.
There it is. A few things before we begin. The concept of a roast, at least in the presence of this event, is rooted in respect for the person who's being roasted and love for the person who's being roasted. We're not here to make anyone feel bad about their work, and we're really not here to make anyone feel bad about their music or art in particular. I want to make this very clear. We're not going to be critiquing we're not going to be focusing on the music or like the art aspect. We're going to be focusing on how you translate that work to an audience through social media, which is this whole related set of skills. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
This is about content
This is about content.
and not the content of the content,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It just took me a minute.
Whoa.
That's how
Bam.
That's how deep it was.
Hey there.
That's how deep it was. Without further ado, why don't we welcome the first volunteer? Welcome to the stage, Sarah Rossi.
Woo! up.
So brave.
So brave. Sarah, how are you feeling right now?
Tall.
Excellent.
I feel like I'm getting a haircut or something.
I love it. So, can you give us, we'll talk more in a second, but I want to see if we can get an idea of who you are from your social media before you introduce yourself. Because this is something you were interested in particular. So can you give us your Instagram handle, please? And can we free the screen up, please?
At ARA_OSSY. ARA_OSSY. There I am.
Here we are. Connection. Introspection. Québécoise sound body in Jojage, Montreal. Okay, judges, we have to choose a post to talk about first. What is everyone's choice?
Can we see a bit more?
Okay, ouch. I'm just kidding.
Can we go to the tab that is the video tab so we can
Oh,
look
yeah,
at the
good call.
numbers? There we go.
Okay, which is our first? We gotta start somewhere. Where are we gonna go?
Let's start with that purple hazy one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Stood still for a moment in the arms and the eyes of the night.
Okay, not to cut it off because it's so beautiful. But let's start this. Judges, love it or block it? What do we think? Oh. Okay, what are your thoughts? What do you think? What comes to mind? Melissa?
I mean, I love how you put sandwich the caption between very evenly balanced emojis. I think it adds, a nice relationship between that and the video, a level of thought and just consideration. I like it's like a nice subtle touch.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. That's like just simple. The most simple thing is it's interesting. It catches the eye, and then the thing that I'm reading and the thing I'm watching and the sound all kind of go together. So it makes sense.
Tranna?
Yeah, I agree. Even the thumbnail that you chose, it's very arresting. It really stands out from the post. So I think that was really, really well done. And the caption is great. I don't have much to critique on this post.
Does anyone else have things to critique about this post?
Is this your artist name on stage? Your Instagram handle?
No. I usually go by my name, Sarah Rossi. This is just like a weird haircutted version of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a critique there?
I mean, it's just something to consider that, making your artist name your handle just to be as easily findable as possible. Especially now because Instagram, when you search for something, it gives you results in reels first before accounts. So yeah, just throwing it out there, but obviously it's not a major critique, but just something to consider. Just to have consistent branding across all your platforms, having the same handle on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, just again to be as easily findable as possible.
Any other thoughts? Great, we love it. Let's go to another one. What jumps out to people? I really want to watch this one.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
I think this is a really good place for us to go next. Let's check it out.
You give me fever when you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning, fever all through the night.
Excellent. All right, judges, love it or block it? Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Let's talk about why.
I think it's great for artists to show a sense of humor. and to have just like varied content. You know, there's such a big difference between what we just saw before and what we're seeing now, and I think it shows like it, as Star was saying before, like you don't want to just always be posting the same kinds of things. And I think showing that you don't take yourself too seriously is a good thing for everyone to do on social media.
I agree. The not too serious, especially because the nature of the beast that is social media is that it's not super real, honestly. And most people's things, it's like either some sort of imagination type of vibe. And I feel like this is nice that it's like funny and silly and goofy. And you're still showcasing your voice also. So your art is still there.
Yeah, I think that's a really incredible point. I mean, even the way you sort of cut it, like it's on beat, like it still looks like put together and kind of polished, and the kiss at the end is so sweet. Like again, it's like the subtle details that actually just like make a big impact that I think you're doing really well.
Agree. No notes. We love it. All right, let's do one more.
Should we look at a static post?
Let's do that.
But yeah, I mean, obviously Instagram is pushing reels. And I guess my question were, like, when we were in the reels section, how much of those did you create to be reels, and how much was just Instagram just automatically, like they do, everything that we've posted as videos is now in the reels section. But I'm just curious about how much of this section was actually designed by you to be a reel.
Probably no more than 2 of them total. The rest of them are like full-length songs or covers or like 3 minutes long.
Cool.
Probably.
Right, I noticed that one said 61 weeks. And how recent was the most recent? Can we look at that most recent one? 6 weeks ago?
6 weeks.
Can we go
Alicia
back to the
Keys.
main page? Sorry, I just wanted
We
to
sure
see
can.
the timing. Okay, so 6 weeks. And what's the time between these 2 pictures?
11
Okay.
weeks.
Oh, that's long.
That's a long one, so you don't post a lot.
You have to be more consistent.
Yeah, the grid is a commitment, you know, to like actually believe in something enough to leave it there permanently. It's
But that, I mean, I'm like really don't like reels and the way that Instagram is pushing that, but like sometimes if you want your things to get out there, you sort of have to go with what their algorithm is pushing. The good thing about reels is that it won't, you can make it just exist in the reels section. It doesn't have to be on your main
True.
feed.
That is a bad idea, though, in my opinion.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Well, I'm like, you can do it, but I don't know anything that like reduces the audience that someone
Okay.
can see
Yes.
something. I
Right.
don't know if that's worth it.
Okay, yeah,
Exactly,
that's a
it's
good
not.
point.
If it's worth it, and like,
Well, then to that end, I would just say don't be so precious about main, you know? Just
Well,
put things out.
To be honest,
Exactly.
also, can you scroll up? I mean, the reach that you have, okay, so you have 1.6 followers, like 1.6 thousand. So you scroll down to your amount of likes you have. Like if you had 100 likes on something, that's 10%, and that's really high engagement.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
So I would say you're doing good, so it's fine. You can kind of do whatever you want. It's not like you're, you have more freedom than I think you think. Most people have more freedom than they think.
absolutely.
Do you
should
post a
just
lot
post
on
whatever you want.
stories?
maybe every like couple days.
Okay,
usually, yeah.
okay, that's good.
Couple things like today.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Wait, let's
Beautiful.
go. Let's scroll down. I
We were all
want.
like, oh.
I want to pick one. I want to pick one.
Yeah, go for it, Star.
Can you scroll down more? Let's go with a dark one because I want to see.
Like one of these?
Yeah, let's like pick one of the darker ones. Let's that one with the on the bottom below
This
that.
one?
Yeah. What's going on here?
Beautiful. Let's vote on this one,
Okay.
shall we?
Yeah.
Judges, love it or block it. 1, 2, 3. I'm just kidding.
Love it, but with I have
An asterisk?
suggestion
Go for it.
for the future. Whenever you make a video like this, you should be well lit and you should be facing the camera. Or if you're gonna have it like this, you should have 2 cameras. So you could cut between them if you really want to get like the real like this. You see how well this did because it's obviously good content. The darkness of the video is gonna make the computer show it to less people because it's so dark, and it's hard for it to catch that you're a person there doing something. So I would suggest in general, whenever you make a video of you singing, that you have bright lights on you. Yeah. So it catches your face. And to have the angle of the camera so that if you want to see your hands playing, that you have either another camera that gets your face too and you cut between them, or you have it so that it's positioned that you see your face and the keys. Yeah. Is my suggestion for it to go from like this, because you could have a moment where you post a video that's like this, and then you have like way more. I have one like this where it's like, I did a cover of Britney, and that's my like, and it's a long video, and it has like 14,000 for something like that's like super long video is a lot, especially for my following, which I didn't have at the time, was not as many as it is now.
Is it also, was that video a vertical video?
And it was also a vertical video.
Because I think that's something that's in our current moment, vertical, like 9:16 is like king at the moment. And anything that's horizontal, which is annoying because like so much visual art in movies and music videos is horizontal, but we're living in a vertical moment.
Yes.
But this was also done 87 weeks ago, so. But I guess even then.
True.
I just mean we didn't know better back then.
Right.
Period. Give it props to Tina She.
There we go. Melissa, did you have something you wanted to say?
I was just gonna say, I mean, I feel like people sometimes get caught up with a caption, and I love like a properly earnest caption, especially if you're breaking it up with like other like sillier sort of shorter moments. Something like this just really like speaks to you and to you speaking to your audience, and it always feels like a breath of fresh air when somebody doesn't feel like they have to self-center because they need to make a good joke or be sarcastic or like kind of hide behind a bit of a mask. So
yeah, totally. Judges, I would love a little reflection on who you think Sarah Rossi is as an artist. We've looked at a couple posts, we've looked at her page. Who is this person? What is their art?
I mean, I feel like you have a really like spacious, expansive practice, and like you can just put a lot of things inside of it. So you obviously have fantastic singing chops, but you can use that when it works for you. You can like show like a playful side of self when that feels available, and you can do a bit of everything. So it's multifaceted, polymath.
Yeah, I really agree with that, and I think that again, like it's nice to see your sense of humor also come out, and to see, you know, just different expressions of your talent and yourself as a person, because I think that that's also really important, and that's what people latch on to. So it's great to showcase your art, but I think part of the reason that people follow their favorite artists on social media is because they want to get a sense of who they are also as a person, and I really do get that from this. Like I think that you're clearly someone who's thoughtful and thinks through what they're posting. Even just that caption that we just saw was really beautiful. So I think that's really coming through.
Star, do you have any thoughts?
I'm less curious about what I think about you, more curious about what your goals are.
Let's talk about it. Sarah.
Here we go. I identify as a multidisciplinary experimental artist. So a lot of what I guess was up there maybe feels a little bit more aligned with maybe pop type of thing. I have like an experimental jazz record that's coming out in the next year, and it's in mastering like literally as I say this. And yeah, so I'm looking to do like immersive multimedia shows with jazz and like responsive visuals and kind of experiential things that involve many senses.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Why did you volunteer for this? Like specifically with like social media, what is your goal? I know you and I have talked about this, but
I feel like what's up here right now is not really representative of like what I do. So if someone were to scroll through it, maybe they would see parts of my personality and stuff like that. But in terms of my like active artistic practice, there's a lot of covers, there's a lot of kind of other people's work or pictures with my friends and whatnot, which I love dearly, all of it. But in terms of marketing and being really specific with what you are interested in pursuing, just for future collaborations or you know, growing your audience and whatnot, I feel like I haven't really given it a lot of thought, partially out of fear. So yeah.
Cool. How about we offer Sarah some like final thoughts? Like, what are things that we think could be done better? What advice do we have?
Can you just scroll down a tiny bit?
For sure. You got it. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I think to Star's point, definitely just more light.
Oh,
more
we
color.
missed this one. Sorry.
Also, look at that and look at how many views
Yeah.
and probably likes. And do you see notice the difference of the lighting just in general between that and all these other things around it? It's like well lit and you're the center focus, and that's why it has more views. It just in general, it will always have more because that's what, it's not personal, it's a computer program that is 100% about you and your body on the camera. It's not about like what you're saying even, it's like about the visual.
This is like a pandemic stress response, like funny video. So yes.
Did you have another thought?
No, I'm good.
Tranna, any final thoughts?
Well, the project that you just described sounds really interesting, and it sounds like there's like a visual component to your project. So like, just think about the material that you're producing for that and how you might be able to integrate it here, because you're already going to have it.
I have like one suggestion that I think you could do, and this is just you are posting too infrequently. Even if you just do like once a week of like, okay, I'm gonna do a post once a week. And I think if you focus on the singing that you're doing, you can do your own songs or you could do the covers that you're already doing. And that is really good. And I think that will open more doors for you in general if you keep doing that. So I would do that and do like a video a week at least, and filmed in a different way to focus on you. No, see, I'm just like 100% serious. It's very like focused on you because as you can see from your own, if you like did your own metrics and you were, do you have, your account is not a business account. You can change that.
Should I? Like,
Yes.
what do you think
Yes.
about that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then if you change your account to that, you can look and you can see where people are when they're like, you know, where people are who follow you, the time of day. People are usually on the app that follow you, so you know when to post and things like that. And you can see more about the analytics behind your posts and which of your posts have the most views and things like that. So you can kind of think about how you're making your stuff. Because I think that, yeah, the lighting and the stuff, and if you do that once a week, you'll just get more. Because I noticed, especially these days, when people come up to me in the streets about the work that I do, and people that have booked me, casting agents, and A&R, also all kinds of people, they find me on social media most often now. And I feel like just doing what you're doing already, but in a way, like with the one consistency, your numbers will just grow pretty rapidly. They happened for Eve that way, like very fast, right? It was pretty.
Yeah, but it took a lot of time.
It was like
you know, it took me like, when I started doing TikTok in like the September 2020, it took me like 7 months to go from 50 followers to like over 10K. But for a long time, I was posting to no one.
Right.
And I think that's like totally normal.
But
and
it was like consistency.
But consistency, I was doing 1 to like 3 times a day for like a year.
I don't think you
With
need to
some
do it
breaks,
that much
which
anymore.
was good. No, and that was like, I was unemployed and like getting CERB and nothing else. So.
Yeah.
But consistency is really important. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much,
Thank
Sarah
you,
Rossi.
thank you,
Give a
thank
round
you,
of applause.
Thank you.
Excellent. It is time for our next contestant, volunteer, musician. Sombra, come to the stage. How you doing?
Good. I expect at least triple the block signs.
Only one way to find out. Can you give us your social media handle? Just kidding, it's right here.
Oh, already prepped.
Sombra.mtl.
Am I like bun blocking the view?
No, you're good.
Awesome. Music to turn the lights off. Turn off the lights to.
Okay.
Judges, where do you want to begin? What grabs your attention?
That one with the arms.
Yeah.
This one. I agree. Nice. Judges, love it or block it. Ba-boom. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about it. What do you think?
I think it's doing everything right.
Say more.
The vertical video, great thumbnail. Again, it goes back to a lot of what Star was saying previously, like those images that really show you full on, like tend to grab people's attention. So that's really immediate. And the caption is beautiful. Everything is like well placed. I don't have any critiques on this one.
Yeah, I think it's like it is checking every box, which is fantastic, and it's what you want. So
But?
congrats to you. I think I'm curious to see what else you have because, you know, as we were talking about earlier, we want to get the like scraggly edges. Like we want to see you like down and dirty. What happens when the lights go?
Okay, yes.
Well,
This is
so
too thought out.
like that side of things too. So this looks like really polished, really well executed. Like you built such an amazing home for the video, with the way that you constructed the post. So I'm excited to see what else you have
Thank
in
you.
your feed.
The thing
There's
I wanted.
stuff to come.
Sorry. Hashtags. I didn't get to say that before.
Let's talk about hashtags.
To Sarah, you did good. I like that you use these hashtags. I forgot to mention that before. I think it's important actually sometimes to use them. Actually, it's good.
Yeah.
They do help.
One actually point about it though is that like, I mean, I'm sure all of those hashtags have like massive kind of followings around them, but you will actually do better if you find something like a little bit more niche. So you're looking at between like 75 and maybe like 300,000 kind of posts associated with that hashtag, because something like Canada or just like new music, they have millions on it. So just your chance of appearing anywhere in that hashtag might get buried pretty quickly.
Yeah, having a mix of like small hashtags, medium, and then a few big ones is often how I've thought about hashtags. So like, you know, maybe like also like Montreal music is an example of one that's like pretty small and like very possible to be shown on that feed. That's something that Star taught me in 2019.
Well,
Still useful. The interesting thing though about how hashtags have changed, at least about how Instagram talks about it, is that hashtags are less about discovery now and more about categorization. So it helps the algorithm categorize your content and therefore show it to the right people.
yes.
In the past, it was really like you could hashtag the right thing and then you would like show up on the top of the hashtag feed, which still exists, but not a lot of people actually look through those feeds.
Well, it's more for when you go to your Explore page and
Right.
you have your like things, where mine is very clocky for the things that it shows me. I was like, girl, just because I follow like lots of RuPaul's, it's like cross-dressing is like one of the main, it's like different things. But that's what it'll show.
So
It's like-
transphobic.
It's so fucked. But that's so then you go to your Explore page and then there's those little subcategories and those are hashtags usually.
Did we ever figure out where if the hashtags matter, if in the post, or that's been like a huge thing for like.
I don't think it
people.
matters.
I don't think it matters.
I think my approach to all those kinds of questions about how to navigate the algorithm down to those so specific details is that I don't care enough to think about it. It's not the thing that's gonna change a piece of content to be super successful versus not successful at all. It could change things a little bit, but I only have so many hours in the day to think about something. So that's how I think about
That's
it
my
anyway.
problem.
Also,
Well-
I want to say this is I assume this is part of a bigger music video, right? I love, I think this is a great way to use music video content, and it makes it weird when you produce a music video to have to think about this, but to think about it in your mind that it could work as a vertical piece of content is great, because then it actually gets seen by more people. So I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Let's move on to another post. Melissa, how about you choose this one? Oh, let's talk. Actually, sorry. Can we talk about this?
Yeah, I mean, you took the words out of my mouth.
Let's talk about that.
The 9-grid mega post. Let's get into it.
Judges, love it or block it.
Can you click on?
Too late.
Oh,
Can I have my own sign?
Sorry. You want us to click? You want me to click on what?
Just any one of them.
The one with more views, maybe.
Do they all have the same caption? Oh wait.
No, they
go back,
don't.
Go back,
They don't
go back.
actually.
The lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's close this and take a bird's eye view. Yeah.
If you
So I
scroll-
mean, this is it's a big topic, and I feel like people have all sorts of opinions. I think when you're launching a page and something's really fresh, this can be a nice way to just start with a splash. However, I feel like people's relationship to the grid is really something that is unfortunately a little bit out of date now, where people are just served individual pieces. If you're lucky, they might go to the grid and see something as a whole, but unless you have a very, very devoted fan base who every single day they're checking, they're never going to get this, and it's unlikely that they'll get served any one of those individual posts because it doesn't really follow some of the best practices with having a face and having it be well lit and having it just, having that visual language really clear off the top, so somebody doesn't need to work super hard to figure out what it is. That being said, as an artistic creative direction, if this felt really central, you're allowed to do that, and that's fine. And it's a beautiful shot, so not everything has to explicitly work to drive views and to continue to feed your audience. You can also have parts of your social media presence that just satiate your artistic appetite to make something sick.
I think it's what Sarah meant. I think we're focused a lot on the grid. We look at our profile more than anyone else, obviously. So we look. It's okay, that's an idea. We feel it, but then in reality, you're right. People are getting individual content. It's a different world.
Yeah, and I know before I said I don't care about algorithm rules, but this is one that will hurt you.
Yeah.
Because if I assume you posted these all at the same time.
Seconds.
Yeah, so it's one of Instagram and a lot of social media. Well, less so TikTok actually, but Instagram specifically. There is a feature of the algorithm that's built to catch spam, and if you post a lot of things at once, it'll trigger that potentially, and it'll show it therefore to less people. So posting a ton of things all at once is not going to be helpful. Yeah.
Don't scroll down too much. There's another one.
Oh, I didn't see the bottom too. I like the colors. I think it's a beautiful image though
Yeah,
too.
the
And that's
photo's
your
cool.
single cover,
It's
right?
single artwork,
Which
yeah.
you could have posted as one
Exactly.
photo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
And
it
in
says a lot
fact,
about
what
it.
would be really cool is if you posted it as the cover, as just the photo, and then you had a green screen video of you over it, pointing to it and saying, "This is my album cover."
As a reel.
I know, and then you would have more. You would have the most views, and that's just honestly how the computer works. It's true.
Yeah,
This is
totally.
100% true. I'm just
100% true.
if you want people to see the thing, you can use this as a tool. I don't think of it as the end-all be-all of your artist career. It's just another tool, right? I don't know. Weren't
Stop
we
si-
talking about this
Oh yeah.
at the other panel?
Oh yeah.
Because we were like, these are just apps that we somehow put our stake in for some reason.
So
Crazy.
true. Tranna, do you have any thoughts about this one?
No, again, just like, yeah, it could have been just the single cover image. Because in your caption, it says single cover, and like Melissa said, people are just getting, like, they might see one of these and then think that that's the single cover. Like, just, you know, it says single artwork, so someone might think that that's the single artwork.
Can I just have a brief sidebar about these kinds of comments where you get a comment from an account that says promoted on whatever, whatever.
Should we delete them?
Yes, you should. And just to clarify, these are spam. They're not real. Never, ever, ever pay some random account to like buy you followers or anything like that, because it will hurt you in the long run. And you don't. These are bad. Report.
Doing my work for me. I love it.
It's spam. Close. Oh, now it's gone.
I respond to some of
You
mine.
didn't actually report my post, did you?
No, I didn't. You respond to some of them?
Yeah, I'm always like, you know what? Some people, you know, people should support you. This is a. But then I'm a troll, so.
No, I respond to them sometimes too. Like I get comments sometimes that are like, the first 5 people to DM me
so annoying.
desperate get $5,000, and I'll comment desperate underneath it, or I'll just be like, give me $5,000.
Yeah, can I get some of that? Hey.
Social media does not pay enough. Let's choose
doesn't.
one more. Tranna, this is your choice now. Oh, there's the other one.
Oh God.
This is the other. This is the other thing that
That's
happens.
yeah, exactly. It gets displaced.
But wait,
yeah.
what's that? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
let's check the
This
pyramid.
one?
Yeah.
The release.
Cool.
That's cool.
Wait, let's vote. Judges, love it or block it. Da, 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 da.
Did you also post that in your stories at the time?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would have shared the reel to my story.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
It's
for
like
the
a little Heaven's Gate. I like it. Also, I'm trying to figure out, because like Lil Uzi Vert had a single campaign that looked sort of similar to this, with like the pyramids and the neon, and I feel like that can also be just a helpful tool if a really major, and it's like a delicate line, but if a major artist is really like focused on a particular aesthetic, you naturally see those things filter out into other parts of culture, different people's social media posts, and it can be an interesting meta-narrative to play with that and play close to that, and yeah, like join a conversation just purely by aligning yourself with some familiar looking aesthetics. But
This one's out too. Yeah. See, I feel like you're seeing very. Oh, there. Post. I love
Sorry,
it.
you were saying.
No, I feel like so. My issue is I tend to be really there, really present when I'm releasing music, and then again, it's that common issue. I kind of like. I've always been very insular when it comes to the writing process. Like I only this year started doing a lot more collaborations and stuff. So it's been a process to try and open up that whole other aspect of the life, share the funny stuff. And I feel like just scrolling, you happen to pick 2 that are very like manufactured posts, you know, very like, so there's that element of realness that I always struggle with, because some artists do that more, you know, dropping singles, dropping music, less of that, you know, the influencer-esque. Like, I'm not trying to be an influencer, but it's like that fine line, you know, where it's like I want to post, I want to show stuff about myself, but I also, you know, feel.
Well, there's something to be said about it remaining organic and authentic, honestly.
Yeah.
And if something really does not feel right to you and doesn't appeal to you, don't waste your time on that. Your time can be much better spent in other ways. Sometimes I feel that way too. Like, I know that there are certain things that I should be doing more of on social media because it's the kind of stuff that gets traction and things like that, but I just don't want to do it. And I don't think you should feel guilty about that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I will say, I agree, for sure. But I also think there is always a way that you can figure out how to create different kinds of content. And I think it's a good thing to try different things.
Exactly.
Like this, I love using like I would classify this as like, you know, this is like art that's very inspired by the music and the album, or the music and the visuals and everything. And I think it's good to mix in something that feels more like behind the scenes. And like as musicians, we're always practicing or writing, and like a good practice is to like always just like document what you're doing and then save it somewhere and then go back and like try and find little moments that you can share with people, because that's what people really want to see on social media. Is like, it's social media is not a TV channel. It is like it grew from being a personal network, so we want to feel like it's still, we get the behind the scenes. You agree, Melissa?
Yeah, 100%. And I'm just thinking about like whenever, like I loved your point about the behind the scenes work, because oftentimes I think that's how you like develop, that's how you encourage your audience to develop a relationship with your work, when they see what went into creating it. And like, of course you can be dazzled by a final finished project, but especially sharing like the challenges, sharing like the surprises, sharing like your troubleshooting as you went through the creation process, that actually like gives the work teeth.
100% I agree.
I'm thinking of like for her last album cycle, Alicia Cara had this like 7-minute long video that was basically just like her falling asleep. It was like slow TV, like it was like, and I don't really know how to describe it except like as a piece of content, it's like really compelling when you see like this work took all of somebody's energy, like to the point where it's not giving you razzle dazzle, it's just giving you like a very pure and honest reflection of the work. So yeah, I would say just have fun with it. But throughout all of these posts, I mean, you're obviously well versed in the medium, you think carefully about it, and like
I tried something a little more authentic. I mean, I've done, they're kind of spliced through there. You have to like look for, I have done stuff like that a bit. But yeah, it's just the consistency that I really struggle with. It's doing that stuff consistently. But yeah.
It's so much work.
course.
Like to
Yeah.
make these kinds of content is like a full-time job, and it's
But
really,
it pays off.
but it really can pay off.
I mean, it literally fiscally pays off. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, let's be
totally.
real. You and me, especially, really get paid to post. I literally get paid to post every single reel I post. I get paid. You get paid to post sometimes, right? No. Well, only because
I
of
know.
Canada. Oh,
We're talking about
we were
this
talking about
now.
this backstage.
Like, if you live in if you live in the U.S., you can actually get paid from Instagram,
I
the
get paid-
app, and TikTok, the app. Whereas in Canada, you can't, which is weird. But I do, you know, what you're referring to also is that I've done deals with brands, and I've been paid to post things, including thanks to Melissa one time, which is really awesome. Thanks so much.
The content are also branded content, and you don't have to be
Yeah.
some sort of big influencer. Like I have like 30,000 followers on Instagram. It's like not the crazy. I know people that have, you know, a lot. That's not the most in a lot. And I feel like if certain things, it's like if you think about it more, something that has helped me recently is thinking of everything as a PR, and like it's just like PR for yourself. And so when you get signed to like a label or you work with labels, they have a PR budget, right? So if you're investing in yourself and you don't have the money to pay for someone to do PR, then you're doing it yourself. That's part of the PR job then, is this. So then whatever that PR of it is that's part of the thing, right? Because whatever the goal is if the goal is to make money from whatever you do with the art, then you're going to pay for your PR to make more money later, even if that means you have to do some work.
For sure.
Sorry, I was just distracted by this one post too, which is exactly what we were talking about, of like behind the scenes things. And this looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, did you hire someone to take photos on set while you were doing it?
It was a friend, somebody. Yeah, it was they were helping on.
It's
set.
great. I think
Yeah.
that's a really smart thing
Always
to do.
have that,
Is
yeah.
always hire someone on set to take photos, and to take nice photos, and then you can use them for social media after.
I think just one thing I recommend in the future is like people love, and we're speaking about this earlier, like people love being told a story, and I think like you could take something like that to the next level by just like really talking about the experience on set and bringing your audience in and like giving them like a 360-degree view of what happened that you only saw, or maybe something that you observed or something that you learned about your creative practice through the process of creating it.
My question then is, because I've done that, but more in stories. So they're like temporary. They're gone. They might be on highlights sometimes. Uh-oh. I don't know if I haven't updated that in a bit, but the highlights. But yeah, like I think it's a different. It's what deserves to be a post or a reel versus what is a story. Sometimes that I mess around with that.
I have a question.
We have a comment.
Sure.
Do you want the mic?
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great call, and to know that your content is like saved on the cloud to go back to later. I would say that a lot of people are very precious about what gets posted as a post, and I really think something I ground myself in with social media is people look at something you post for 2, 20, 30 seconds, and then they move on with their lives forever. And there's something very freeing in that, you know. It is a temporary medium. As musicians, we work for years on music, and to have something that is super ephemeral can be really nice as a compliment. So don't be too precious about what gets posted. Just try stuff and see what happens. Have fun.
Fair enough.
Yeah, have fun.
Great.
Thank
Give a round
you.
of applause for Sambra. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Great. We have one more. Great. Is Olivia here? Can you grab a glass of water? Give it up for Olivia, who's been so helpful all week. We have one more contestant, so please welcome to the stage Jade Above.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good.
Can you give us your Instagram handle, s'il vous plaît?
It's JADEABOV.
Great. I'm gonna pretend that I didn't have it saved right here. Jade. Pop psychologique Montréal. Deconstructing masculinity one song at a time. Accessible yet transgressive.
There we go.
There you go. Star, I think it's your turn to choose a post to talk about.
Let's go. Can we look at the videos? I'm like
Yeah.
very video focused.
Video focused. Where do you want to start?
What's this been a long time? On the bottom?
This one.
Yeah.
Yes, great. Great place to start.
I'm in the vibes and I got my dough. What's another buckle of more? Yeah, them looking hype and I got to know. Good idea, protector. You're buff in every sector. Every man around them wants on your inspector. But you know, let them get in and drill you with no lecture. But them for a drill, now them fuel injector. And them are infector, disease collector. Now for them I go like them want come wreck you. Don't know the parts where you got in your center. But you know you not let them guide they affect you, yo, girl. Just give it a light and
Judges, I feel like I know what this is going to be, but judges love it or block it.
Thank you.
Let's talk about it.
Sex still sells. and it always will. And like this is the kind of stuff people love. Like I know in my experience, like the handful of times, very rarely, but every now and then when you post something that's a little bit more osé, it tends to do really well. Especially if you don't do it too often, you know, you like tease that out a bit. Like people, I mean, it's a fundamental part of what we do. Like it's like this is not anything new. It's still true in the social media age. Like, and people I think also just like, and I think what is sexy is that like when we're feeling ourselves, and you're clearly feeling yourself in that video, and that's what people love to see. Like it's very enticing and exciting and fun to watch.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just love also how still connected it feels to your overall mission that you
Mhm.
announce on your page with your bio. Like, it's speaking to that part about what it means to be transgressive yet accessible, and like playing with these notions of masculinity with something that like is simple, and I hope you had fun doing, and like you looked and seemed very liberated when you were doing that. And,
Oh, thank you.
and people really like, you know, social media is successful because like every time you see something you like, you get like a super shot of an endorphin. And seeing people act freely, like be free on a site that oftentimes feels very restricted and tight and like censored it feels like everybody's cheering for you. Like I think everybody wants you to win and feel like you have access to that.
Oh, I love that. Star?
I like it. I think it's great. I like the dancing.
Thank you. It was very spontaneous, actually. It was a while that I danced because I injured my right knee. You can see the little thing that I have on my right knee, and I had so much fun doing it. So.
And look at the difference in the numbers.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
Also, it's like the thing about the lighting and the
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Even if the other ones too, it's like up there, you're at the center of the focus, but it's still so dark. This one here, it's like.
Yeah, the other thing I think goes into why this post is so successful in terms of numbers is that we are living in this weird time where I think content that looks like it's filmed, like you picked up your phone and filmed it, does better.
Yeah.
Which is like really annoying for artists who like really care about visuals and like want to put a lot of effort into like. But I think that post almost does that, which is why I think it's good. And your post, Sarah, too, about with the horizontal videos kind of looks like that too. But it's just something to keep in mind. Yeah. Let's choose another one. Whose turn is it now? Who? Tranna?
Sure.
Yeah, you wanna go?
Can we do
This one?
Yeah.
You bet. Nice. Judges, love it. Block it. 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah, I might do that.
I'm doing a
Mostly
half.
love.
Oh, interesting.
Sorry.
No, it's interesting.
No, Star, why don't you start?
It's giving TLDR. Too long didn't read. I was like trying to read it. I was like TLDR. Like I just was like, it's just.
Oversharing.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to read it. I was like, I'm trying to read it. There's a lot of writing of the for this video, so that's why I would block it.
Yeah, I mean, this is hard because I'm a writer and I love long posts. I love when people are extra in the captions. But so I want you to feel like you're empowered to do that. But even something as simple as like breaking it up into different paragraphs, so it's not like a big block of text, but a little bit more bite size, could help incite readers to just read a little bit more.
Editing.
And then also just like, you know, it's hard to be your own editor. So I think if you're writing something that's really long and you're like, I want to keep all of this, like a friend that you trust, getting them to give it a different read, they might help like look for moments of repetition and make it nice and tight and concise and punchy, because the statement itself is magnificent and like you're saying something that's really important. And as I was saying, that context is really important, especially for fans who care about what you're doing, but we also want people to engage with all of it. So if somebody's only reading the first 2 sentences, they're not getting everything. And it's weird to think that like to get more, you need to give them less, but that's how you really make sure that the packaging around the work is all
More
being
concise, basically.
Exactly.
You know, and this text could also, I would be curious to see a video of you talking and saying some of these themes. I think that could be a way to get more of it out there to people. That might be really interesting and like really ties into your like artistic mission.
Perfect.
I want to talk about the other reason that I was a half, which is
Shall me.
what's on the video. I would not put the logo, even though we love Canada Council and appreciate their ongoing support. Thank you so much. Love Canada Council so much. But anything, I think users we are so trained to scroll past things that look like ads. And like we all do it. Whenever you see an ad, you just like want to go away from it. And anything that looks like an ad is gonna do worse. And I think something like this makes that true. And unfortunately, with text too, I think the text is fine, but choosing fonts that look like the fonts that are built into the applications also, I think, do better.
Perfect. Noted.
But I think it's a beautiful video, and I think it's another good example of like something that's clearly professionally produced, but that also works as vertical content. Totally.
I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes I find my posts that have longer captions actually do really well because people are spending more time on it. And so then the algorithm, I think, knows that people are focusing on it, so it actually spreads to more people. But maybe this is just verging on too long. But in my experience, longer captions, and it's not, I'm not doing it on purpose. Like if I have a longer caption, it's because there's something that I actually have to say, which clearly you actually have something to say. It's not just like tricking the algorithm. But in my experience, long captions have actually done well. And that, yeah, that's all that I would add. And I think also too, like, you know, like reading the second part, you're talking about a ski mask, but we don't see that in the video. So like, it's not, what you're describing is also not fully matching what we're seeing in the video as well.
I see. Thank you.
Mind you, I write long captions, but usually a story, like an actual story, which you are telling a story here in the bottom part. And I guess you're telling a whole story. It's a lot. I was like trying to read it. It was hard to read it for some reason.
For context, I was explaining, it's a 12 minutes video performance. And I was explaining like the reasoning behind the outfit and everything, but I can see how like for a person that doesn't know me, it's kind of like, okay, moving on.
Or even like kind of breaking it up into different themes, right? 12 minutes, it's like it's such a generous offering. Like if you imagine like what are the 3 themes in the video and you make 3 individual posts, then you break it out into more bite-sized pieces of content. So you still get everything, but you're also connecting the dots and you're giving each piece its own opportunity to shine with a little bit more attention.
Ironically, there were 3 posts for the 3 tiers. That's one of them.
Great.
And are the captions different on each one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Star, do you want to choose one?
Yeah, let's go down. Let's go further. Let's go up to the past. Okay, I'm noticing a lot of black screens. So what's up with that?
I don't even remember what it was.
It could be just the thing that is chosen.
Well, then that.
But you can change that.
You can change you can change the cover.
Now I know.
Yeah, you can change the cover image, and you should choose something that grabs people's attention from what you post.
But let's not focus on that. I'll pick something else. I don't want to pick that. Sorry. I don't want that to be the choice. Go back up. Go back up. To the top, I guess. We'll go back up. I don't know. You pick. Actually, I changed my mind.
Well, Melissa, why don't you pick?
Can we go back to the grid? Is that okay?
Back to the.
Oh yeah, we're not on the grid. Oh yeah, we left. The
Oh,
grid.
I thought we were on the grid. Sorry.
Yeah, let's keep scrolling. Oh, I'm curious about that middle one.
This one.
Yeah.
Me too. Okay, judges, love it, block it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yeah.
The pink money, is that what you said earlier?
The pink dollar.
The pink
yeah.
dollar.
We love the pink dollar in this house.
The LGBT
Yes,
lobby
we want the
at work.
LGBT coins. Period.
Melissa, why did you choose this one?
Yeah, I think it just stood out from everything else, and I like that it's sort of blurring the lines between it's a photo, but it's a collage. There's some text. I think to your point, it feels like PR, but in a really like interesting, multifaceted way. Yeah, and I think it's something that like somebody will stop on, like something that catches the attention. But I feel like I don't see these kinds of posts very often. So I guess there's a part of me that feels like a little nostalgic about this way of playing on social media where you can actually just like have it. You're like, oh, it's a good photo of me. What if I added another one? What if I added some text? What if I added a background? Like, I don't know. It speaks to something, or like a moment online where people felt free to actually be full creators, not just like create for a platform or create for an algorithm. Like create just because they thought something looked cool and they wanted to share it with their friends, which I also think can be like an effective tool when you let people in that way.
Mina, by the way, is Middle Eastern North African.
Star, Tranna, do you have any thoughts?
I agree with all of that. It really does stand out on your grid. And also the caption is beautiful. Like, and I think this is like the perfect length, you know? Yeah, I don't have any, it's great.
What are these from? Is this still from a video?
No, it was a photo shoot that I did with a friend, and like the pictures by themselves did not give anything. They were like, "Meh." So I decided to like do
You did it yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Graphic design skills.
Yep.
It's good.
Very
You
useful.
got to.
Yeah.
Every artist needs to know Photoshop,
Yeah.
Premiere Pro,
Premiere, yeah.
BetterHelp.
But then, the
taxes,
antithesis
right.
to that is what you were saying before, and I think a trend that we've all noticed is that the things that look less polished are the things that do better. So you know what? You don't need to know all those things. Just use the tools that are built into the app and use that. Like that's what it wants you to be using anyway.
I also lightly disagree with you a little bit about the idea of like a post being like, oh, I miss post. Like I don't really care in general. Like that's my personal opinion, is that I just don't care that much in general about a lot of stuff. So with something like this, I'm like, oh, it's nice. I would rather you be dancing like that. I personally would like watch that.
Yeah.
My thing that I clicked on, the first thing I want to watch is the video of you dancing, because that's what's like cool. Like I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I would watch that. If this was moving and it was you and it said Happy Pride with the words and you were dancing, I'd be like, who is this person? I want to follow.
Yeah.
Because that's what would appeal to my simple brain. Honestly, I think like these, I mean, sometimes I think about these apps as like really like simplifying the message is not the most true sometimes to yourself, but it is the most effective in terms of audience, if that's the goal. It's like a simplified message, because most people will understand it, which is nice. Image is cute. It's great.
Totally, and a good way to repurpose things that you already had but weren't going to use somewhere else. I think that's great.
But the danger of that, and I think that we do see it on your grid, if you want to go back to the grid, is that a lot looks like it's from the same photo shoot or project.
I see.
And I've noticed, like for me too, like if I do a photo shoot and I like share the first image, the post will do super well. And then each subsequent image from the same family does less and less and less well. Which is annoying, because it's like we spend so much time in putting these things together and making these things, and so we want the things that we're making to have a long life. But unfortunately, like I just have noticed in my experience that things from the same photo shoot or same video or same project that I'm sort of like using over and over again gets less and less traction each time.
Yeah, and I think like, I mean, we're talking about just like resources and the investment, and that like getting something set up for a photo shoot or for a video shoot, it just takes an incredible amount of time and money and personnel, etc. So even like when you're in that like pre-production planning stage, I feel like there's ways you can mitigate like what would end up as a single post if you just like come with a couple of different outfits and like look at different places on set that like that's a black curtain, that's like a white wall, and they can look like totally different days in different places, and you're still like utilizing the resources that you've allocated to that project in creative ways. So then when you get to a stage where you're trying to cut down different assets for socials, you like have a couple to choose from and they look super different. And I think like influencers who are like working at a really high level, I can imagine do that. Because there's no way you can like set up for a video shoot 3 times a week and have it come together. Like you kind of have to.
Even though everything they do always looks the same. Like my like my influencer cousin who's like super successful on social media, but just looks like she's perpetually on vacation. But it's like she's been posting the same image for like the past 5 years.
What? I'm so curious.
I don't know what anyone gets out of it, and it's not actually the same image, but it's all doing the same thing. And yeah, my mind is still sort of boggled by that and what anyone gets out of it, but that's a different story.
Well, because that's the difference between someone that's like that, right? She's just a pure influencer, or like Eve, who's also like an entertainer.
Yeah, exactly.
So and like you know, or like me, where we have other goals outside
Absolutely.
of just getting the product placement stuff, which I think is might be less numbers, but it's more money in the long run, or like more things. I don't know, creative.
Yeah,
that's my goal always. You know, the door that opens to the next door.
Yeah.
That's right. I think a little overall thoughts about this are what I would love to see is I would love to hear you talk. I love to hear people talk.
Agree.
And people love it.
Yeah.
People love, it's not like, it really is, like I hate doing videos and I hate talking because
Tell me about it.
we're all, well, I don't know if we're all, but like a lot of us are performers, and like so for so much of what we do, it's about the exchange with an audience. And for me, like just being in my room alone and talking to a phone is like, does not feel natural, does not feel good, but like people do love it.
I do like Sombra mentioned earlier. I do it more often. I think it's Sombra who mentioned it. I do it more often in my stories.
Okay.
I do have like I posted a story before. And I was
That's
like,
great
super
though. Then
excited.
that means you're doing it, and that's good.
Yeah, and I would just encourage you to experiment with what it feels like to post it as a reel, and just like see what happens. And it might work, it might not work, and you should also try it like 10 times before you decide if it's gonna work or not. You know?
Yeah.
But if you're, I think like you can approach it the exact same way you would do a story. You know, like we're so like the story format is so freeing that you just like pick up the thing, you talk, and then you send it off, and it goes away, and you don't have to put any more work to a post version of that. It can be the same thing.
Yeah, and when you click reel, it's literally the exact same setup.
So funny. I feel like I do both. I do everything all the time.
But your stories are different than the talking posts you post.
Yeah,
on the grid,
they're
right?
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't. Sometimes I will repost them. Like I'll sometimes save them and post them. But I try to make them slightly different. You get the real tea on the story. Salacious. A little more.
If you're not following Star, you really are missing it.
Honestly, I don't care
You're
if
only
you do or
getting
not.
half the
This is
story.
my new thing too, is that I don't care if you do or not, because I realize these days that my fans are the people that are, you know, I have certain fans, and if you want to be my fan, you'll be that. If you're not, I don't care. Because my bills are paid. And that's always my goal, is just to pay my bills, and like they will be paid. And I feel like I have like, that's the thing, that's the goal. If that's your goal too in your head of like, okay, I want to pay my bills from this thing, it's going to change how you view the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Versus like, oh, my self-worth is in this. This is what we were talking about at the panel before. Like, I don't know if I said this earlier today in this panel, but just excising your self-worth from the branding and PR part of it is really important to make money from it if that's your goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think what our panel before, which was like dinner, and I feel like this panel is like the dessert. And I also just like personally find really interesting is that I have like a really, really complicated relationship with social media, even though we've been talking about it for the last 2 hours, and I've like executed really big social media campaigns for big brands. When it comes to myself, a lot of what we're talking about, I like cannot see myself doing. Like I know that it's successful, I know how to do it. I like have no problem talking for 2 hours, but I don't know if I could do this and be like, okay, perfect post, which is like something that boggles my mind because like why not? And I think that it's okay to struggle through those things, but it's also okay, and I think part of what I've really appreciated about this panel is that like it's also not that deep. And I think like we're thankfully entering into a moment where we don't need to be that precious. And I think part of those hang-ups come from like about a decade of like people getting like pulled apart to pieces for like a minor misstep that they make on social media. And it feels like at any moment you can do something that will like send you to a very far away, dark place online. So there's a lot of like self-censoring, and there's a lot of like, maybe, no, it's not gonna happen. So I think like, yeah, somebody's like looking at your shit for 20 seconds, like no more than that. You can like post and move on. And then for your friends or the people that love you or your fans who like really will stand by you, they're the ones who you're talking to and are gonna get the most out of seeing like a little glimmer of who you are. So I don't know, after this panel, maybe I'll make my first TikTok.
This is your fantasy. This is your fantasy, no one else's.
Yeah, it's an artistic playground too. I mean, I really appreciated I've struggled with my relationship to social media, but I've appreciated it so much because it's allowed me to like play and discover a whole other side of my artistic practice. But I think the self-censoring is like a huge thing that people deal with, and not even like also the worry about something looking like cringe or like looking like boring or like bad or all these things we tell ourselves as artists. But I mean,
but then look at all the things that go viral. The bar's low, people. The bar's low.
So low.
Yeah, embrace
find
the cringe.
Freedom in that. Yeah, embrace the cringe and find freedom in the bar being so low.
Even like sometimes
And keep the bar high for your art.
For your art, but then even like when it is low, just like embrace that. Like I have this issue, which is, I mean, I like, as somebody who writes for a living, the amount of typos my stories will have, like on a like weekly basis, is actually like really bizarre. And then at some moment, I was like, maybe this is just it. Maybe this is like how I'm interacting with it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, when you feel compelled to post a story about something, you're not like thinking twice about it. I think it's in that moment of like second guessing and let me reread it and let me actually double check is when you might start like pulling things out. So sometimes if it's like off the dome, we just have to go with it.
Yeah.
Never delete and repost. Yeah. It's probably the anti-spam filter again. Yeah, and I would say if people are on TikTok too, if you don't like a video that you posted, also don't delete it. Set the privacy to only yourself. Which like tells TikTok that you're not like one of those creators that's constantly deleting things.
Okay.
Anyway, it's just a little algorithm tool. One other thing I wanted to say about all three people actually is about comments and responding to people's comments. Because building a fan base is about building a community of people, and like taking the time to respond to comments with engaging with what people say is a really great way to actually bring people into the process of who you are as an artist.
Even just liking their comment.
I do actually.
You know,
so,
makes them feel seen.
I don't feel concerned by this.
Love it.
Fab.
Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions or thoughts? Or
I don't actually. I thought it was very informative, and I've also learned a lot from Sarah and Sambra's feed, and the panel we had before. So
awesome.
I feel very educated right now.
I love it. Well, give it up for Jade above. Thank you so much. We have a little bit of extra time now. I wonder if there are any questions in the audience, or if someone else wants to volunteer for us to look. Get up here. I love the Crocs, by the way. I have the same. Nice. So can you grab a mic and introduce yourself? Yeah.
Hello. My name is Mags. I'm part of the group Strange Fruits. We're performing tomorrow, actually, for Pop Montreal. And I do a lot of stuff around the city. festival director. I'm a graphic designer, illustrator, producer. I do a lot, and I'm always tired. And I'm a Virgo, so I'm extra tired.
Love that. Which feed do you want us to look at? Do you want strange fruits or?
Yeah, I think strange
Okay.
fruits might be the more pertinent.
Let's do it. How you is it? It's 2 O's, yeah.
Like the cereal.
Because they're so good. That's why.
There's some sort of brand visibility. I know it.
Yeah.
I'm the basic American audience.
Say that again in the
I'm the basic American audience. There's a brand. I knew how to spell it. You know.
Star AH-MER-AH-SU
There's some
knows
sort
how
of
to
brand
spell strange
visibility.
fruits.
I don't know.
With 2 O's
Where have
like
I
a
heard it?
cereal. It's so good.
Maybe somebody posted it.
Can we start with this one?
Oh, sure.
Do ba do ba do ba do ba do ba do ba do.
I love it. Oh, sorry. Judges? Love it. Block it. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Oh, okay.
I'm so. I was actually like, look. I was like, oh yeah, I like was looking on my side. Sorry, sir.
Anyone? Why do you love it? Why do we like it?
It's funny.
It's too real.
Tranna?
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, it's instant. It's relatable. Yeah. It's
Eye
great. All the
contact.
hashtags.
Who posted it?
I run our social media.
You run the social.
So I posted it. The
Sorry,
context
use mics
of this
'cause of the-
video.
yeah.
Sorry. The context of this video, actually, we were in Rimouski for a show. This was our first time in Rimouski. It's all right. It's all depraved white people. There's like no nightlife. There's no nothing. We were there for like a school event, and they loved it. They loved it. They literally didn't want us to leave. So we got on stage at some point after we all performed, and I'm like, you know, taking videos. I'm like, yeah, we lit, Rimoumu, whatever. And so this is literally just a slowed down version of us just doing our thing. And because she saw that I was filming, she like held eye contact. She was like, yeah, what? And I was like, ooh, it's about to be retrograde soon. So why don't I just, you know, so that's what that is.
Well, that is the thought process that everyone should have. Yeah, you gotta constantly be thinking, you know what? It's a machine.
Exactly. But like taking a moment that is happening in the moment and grabbing a thing and then like connecting it to something that's going on is it's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect
Genius
content
level
production.
content creation.
And something that's easy too. It's just like you picked up your phone and did it. So great job. One critique I have, which is another, just a silly little algorithm thing, is to not post a video on Instagram that has the TikTok watermark on it. Instagram has publicly said that they lower the views of videos that have the TikTok watermark on them.
Really?
Yeah, it's very annoying, but like you should, in this moment that you're grabbing the video, just like do it on your phone camera and then upload it to both of them separately.
You can retype the text on.
True, because like we
Instagram.
don't post on TikTok very often, which is why I was like, I don't have time for it. And the thing is, I posted this closer to when that event happened, which was in April, but because retrograde only started a few weeks ago, I like just kind of I was like, let me just grab this off of TikTok and then post it again.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Smart. It's fine. Like the watermark thing, like those other algorithm rules, like, you know, it's not worth like not posting something because of that. And like something that's really good will still do really well. So let's do one more and then let's open the floor for questions. Tranna, you haven't chosen one in a while. Which one do you want to do?
That one with the nails.
This one.
Yeah.
Boomerang.
Oh, that was the night. Oh, that was an amazing show.
They're there's. Amazing. Judges, love it. Block it. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go in between. I'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
What's that?
Question.
Go for it.
I'm curious. Do you have friends like you did your own video for the other stuff? But do you have like a friend with the camera and you get them to do like video footage for you purposefully?
We have a lot of friends who do not do camera work, so they're not quite useful.
Right, because I'm like, this is a really big moment, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
if you just had one friend or somebody
Who
with a
was there, like,
camera
dedicated
there,
filming.
so then you have your dedicated
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
that then when you make this post, it's not like all these
Like
retag things.
stories,
It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
here's
For
some
the
great
really, yeah,
pho-
for the
footage.
really big dream come true events.
The Lizzie McGuire, hey now,
Exactly.
moment.
Like, it really is worth even to pay someone, because, like Melissa said before, like, people love a story, and I think like people following you already invested in your story, and moments like that show are so big, and everyone is excited to see those really big dream come true moments. So it's worth it to put that little investment in having it really well documented.
Support our music on Bandcamp so we can
Definitely.
invest in the
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
for sure.
You just need one friend and give them your phone. You need one friend. This is what happens. I do this all the time.
Yeah, totally.
Some friends are not good camera people, though.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's the thing.
Well, that's
Our
real.
friends, most of these stories are from
Right.
strangers.
But sometimes there are
strangers, not even friends.
there
Or
are
pro-
like professionals just starting out, or maybe they're not fully professional yet, but they have better skills than like just a random friend, you know. So like, and you have people, you know, you have such an amazing circle of people. So tap into that.
For sure. For
one
sure.
thing, just in terms of the cover photo, because I feel like from the cover
Right.
photo, I wouldn't have guessed.
It's same, yeah.
I know.
That-
Same.
And there's a reason for that. If you look at our grid, and I know we just talked about the grid,
No, it's okay.
I
go
made
for
it so that one side is always me, one side is always Nika, and then
Oh.
the middle is like
Oh.
mixed. Which is why I was super annoyed that at that point it landed on me, so to speak, and I was like, I gotta put something with my face on it, but like I want people to see our fits, but you know, so.
That's actually a really clever way to like use the grid, I feel. Although it's not necessarily, we didn't see that, but like now we do, and I love it.
But it's there.
And it
Yeah,
helps
totally.
me with the content curation also, where I'm
Right.
just like,
Just like an internal structure.
Yeah.
That's
But I think you can
awesome.
allow
I
yourself
love
some
hearing you talk
exceptions.
through
Yeah.
the Virgo,
process.
she's neurotic.
The thing I'll say too about this is, I think reposted stories as a post don't do well, because it's content made for one thing in a different form, and like, you know, videos like this with the story font tagging on it, it just looks like it was a story, which it was.
I know, and I hate it.
Not
Start.
100%, because
Say
some
more.
of my very well done posts are reposted stories, but they were just good quality ones that I posted as reels. So that's what matters.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's the quality.
I'm in the habit now of whenever I'm taking like stories like this at other people's shows, what I do is that I'll tag them, but I'll drag the name out of the screen so that they have it, but it doesn't show up on my thing.
What a good
so that,
friend.
so then if they ask me for it, I can download it and then they can.
See, you need a you for you.
Exactly.
Hello, where am I? Are you listening?
But really, like, I think that like you can exchange. Like, I'll come to your show and I'll film you, and then you come to my show and film me. Like,
Yeah, but I feel like Montreal is very that. I mean, I don't live here, and I have come here a lot, and I feel like my whole career has been helped by being in this community of artists. So I definitely think you can find people to help with that aspect.
But maybe sometimes it's also just that hesitation of asking, which I really understand. Like sometimes I've wanted to ask people to come and like, there's this really big thing happening. Can you just come and follow me around for like a few hours? It's an awkward thing to ask. But
Like-
sometimes it's worth it. Or like buy them a drink, you know?
Don't these queers want to be
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Facts. Reparations. Period. You
there you
know?
go.
100%, and they will 100% do it.
Very that.
I honestly can probably find like a really good camera person actually who has their own camera.
That's the thing. We know
This
so
is
many
this is
camera
a private conversation.
It's so funny too because we actually do know so many camera people, but again, it's the whole awkward thing.
Yeah,
We don't have a lot of money.
I
but
know,
can you
it can be
come?
awkward.
Right. True. True.
Awesome. Can we get a round of applause for Megs and Strange Fruits? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think we've. Yeah, where is your show? Say it on the mic.
We're playing at Théâtre Fairmount tomorrow with Magi Merlin and Kaya Hoax. I believe the doors are at 8. Show's at 9. Come through.
That'll be great.
Yay.
It's just down the street. Cool. We have like just a little bit of time left. I know it's been a long session, but I feel like we've like talked about a lot of really interesting things. Questions? Can you come to the microphone and talk it for our live stream listeners?
I will say hello. Is this working? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I've had a burning question this whole panel. Okay?
Ask it.
This is what it is. You are a creative, but you're like I'm not an artist. I work in music. I am somewhere where I have this like struggle where I'm like, I should be really personable, like you would be on a personal page, but I'm also in marketing and or doing marketing other people's projects. How do you find the balance? My brain says one is all company, the other one says the other is all personal, but I see that a mix does really well. It's like how do you find your voice?
Yeah. Melissa, I feel like you're jumping at the bit to answer and share. What do you think?
No, I'm grateful that you felt comfortable saying that, because I feel like we spent a lot of time today talking about like musicians as influencers, and I think that if you have any kind of creative practice, if you work in any kind of creative field, all of these things feel like you are in the mix as well. That you can just have a marketing job and feel like you also need to be a content creator, because then you can also tap into some of these resources. And I think like TikTok, more so than maybe any other platform, has really blurred those lines. And I think maybe has liberated a lot of people in marketing or who work in the industry and let them see what artists experience, especially as they think about how to grow a platform. And I would just say, like, so much of it begins with like measuring your own bandwidth and like being really honest about what you feel like you can do. I think when it comes to social media, it feels like it can just be linear, but there are some forms of content that are fundamentally not available to you at certain moments. Like if you want to, like, I don't know, if you want like a really hot photo and you're really proud of yourself and like you're feeling it, like sometimes you can do that, and sometimes you can be doing that in real life and you just like can't bring yourself to post it on Instagram, because even though that's the photo and that's the story, what's going on behind the scenes, like you having a meltdown before that photo is taken, is gonna just be impossible. And I think thankfully for those of us that don't need to worry about posting as often or are not actively trying to grow an audience, like social media is not running away from you. You can take a break and then come back. Like I post on Instagram maybe 3 or 4 times a year, which is like, given our conversation, wild to say out loud. And I wasn't always like that. There have been times in my life where I've posted once every week, like a couple of times a week, and then I won't, and it all kind of like matches what professionally I'm feeling I can do at the time. Or just like, I think especially if you work in a marketing field, all of these things, all of these conversations are going on in your head, that if you psych yourself out and then you like psych yourself out of posting, I see you're nodding. Those are just things that happen. And again, like in our earlier panel, we were talking about like the infrastructure of these platforms are built to prioritize a very single and particular style of content. And that is authenticity. Authenticity is like what Instagram and Facebook and TikTok are chasing down, because they want to simulate real life, because obviously that will generate the most views. That's what people want to watch for the longest. That's what they want to come back to when they feel like they're getting something that they actually couldn't get in real life interactions. So like for people who are able to do that, I feel like it is a real skill, a real art. It is difficult to do. And if you feel like you can, it's not because of a personal flaw. It's because we're really being asked to engage and interact with a media environment that's like completely new to humans in general. Like we don't really have something historical that matches quite what this media environment is asking today. So I think just like being really gracious and like if, you know, there's a TikTok trend and you're like, oh, this kind of like feels like me, like maybe I can like try it out and see how it fits. And if it works, like, you know, maybe the first time you try, you just take the video and you're like, okay, I took the video, I'm not gonna post it, whatever. Then the next time, maybe you're like, okay, I can post it, save it as a draft. Let's see, let it sit, let it marinate. And then maybe like it might take a little bit longer for you to actually feel confident enough to post it. But like every other part of your practice, I think developing a sustainable social media practice is something that like takes time and care and attention, and it's not intuitive because again, these, like our relationship with these platforms, they're still very new. I think figuring out how to like separate the super personal, super vulnerable, I'm like half marketing like coordinator, half influencer, half like social media something. Yeah, it's a lot to think about. So
Thank you for that. Do we have any other questions in the room? Yep. Be real. I'm just kidding. Yeah, what's the goal?
What's your goal? Depending on the goal, I can tell you one for each. So I've already broken this down. Remember I was doing this, I do this all the time, I think about this. Twitter is for if you're a writer, Twitter. If you're somebody who wants to break into television, Instagram. If you're someone who perhaps is younger and you think you could also do television or you want to do music, TikTok. Those, like, as far as that goes, people who cast send these things around, because I've been in these with people who are like casting and they send things. I would say TikTok and Instagram lend themselves for television more, and Twitter more for writing and stuff. And then there's Tumblr used to be images and stuff, but yeah, Instagram also casting. I get a lot of casting sent to me on Instagram. So I would say Instagram and TikTok for those things. Selling stuff.
yeah, marketplace.
Marketplace.
Selling stuff.
I do think, like, I know that
and older people.
That is actually very real. Like, and middle-aged people, like, a lot of people still use Facebook. Yeah. And, like, there is actually lots of, like, musicians that it makes sense for them to focus
to
on.
market on Facebook.
Yeah, to be posting on Facebook, to be commenting, to be engaging, to be sharing links. Like, there's still use for it 12 years later or whatever.
It's just fun. Like, this is the first time Facebook has come up in, like, over 2 hours of talking about this subject, which is, I don't know, I can't imagine having a conversation like this even, like, 5 or 6 years ago, and have like Facebook feel so far outside of the conversation, especially when like they created, they basically set the model of like, you create an artist page, you cannot be an artist without a Facebook page, then you have to monetize ads, then you have to make sure that you're upkeeping your platform, and I guess
That's how I became famous.
On Facebook.
I was a Facebook. Remember I had Facebook, and then was it Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And then my friend who worked at Facebook, this is my big secret, was my friend worked at Facebook, and they gave me about $250 a month in ad money back in like 2016. So then I ran ads on all my music videos at first. Way, way, way before people really did that. And so if you look on YouTube, my very first, like some of my first YouTube videos have way more views than my new ones because I stopped paying for ads on them. But that's, you got to do what you got to do. And now look at me.
But it is a really interesting point, because where will this conversation be in 5 years too? Like, maybe we'll be talking about TikTok the way we talk about Facebook, which I think is really fascinating and like kind of liberating and also terrifying and annoying.
I mean, TikTok is like Vine recycled. Like, I feel like, but I don't know. It's not a U.S. company, so it'll be harder for somebody like Meta to buy it.
we'll see. Yeah, I also think like, each platform comes with its own kind of different kind of content that works on it. So like it gives rise to different kinds of artists, different kinds of people get attention from. So we'll see what the next thing is. Any other final questions? Great. This was amazing. Thank you all so much. Can I get a round of applause for our 3 judges up here? And also a round of applause for our volunteers.
Give it up to the volunteers.
And I would also like to thank our amazing production staff, Kai on sound, Nick on the live stream, Olivia here too.
And let's give a round of applause for Parker Finley.
Thanks so much.